Good evening. I'd like to start this evening with a scenario of an average American family just going through the motions of everyday life. It's cold outside, and they're tired from working and household duties the day before. They would much rather stay in bed, but the alarm goes off at 4 a.m. and everyone must head off to their jobs, school, or daycare once again. Both parents work, and it's still barely enough at times. The family has 2 cars, a 3-bedroom house, and the basic necessities. The parents hold what they believe to be steady jobs to make the ends meet. Everything seems to be how it should be until the warehouse Dad works for moves to Mexico. The economy is in turmoil, and Mom does not make enough to pay the bills by herself. Dad spends his day searching for work, and Mom decides to go back to school while still working herself. The family thought they were financially secure because they were able to pay the monthly bills on time, but due to a sudden change in circumstances, their finances are not as stable as they once had believed. Credit card statements are growing as their income is declining. The mortgage is now behind, and they have no idea how they're going to buy groceries since the credit cards are all maxed. What if this was you and your family? What did this family do wrong? How could you prevent this from happening to you? With today's uncertain economy and high unemployment rates, people are being forced to deal with these type of unfortunate financial circumstances every day. Financial security is something we all strive for, and with some behavioral changes to pay off debt, live within our means, and build wealth, it is not an unrealistic goal. I learned early on in life that I was the one responsible for my own financial outcomes. Neither of my parents worked, and there were things I wanted they could just not afford. I started cutting grass at the age of 11 to buy things I wanted. The first time I remember working paid off was when I wanted to buy an expensive slip and slide. I cut yards, raked lawns, and swept patios to pay for that slip and slide. I thought I was good at saving money, but there were things in life that I thought everyone had, and in order to get them, I had to finance them. I soon realized that having a new car or that new cell phone was not worth the extra money to finance. I watched many of my coworkers struggle and not have the money to buy Christmas presents for their children in order to drive that new car. I started paying off all my debts immediately. I realized how much I had to gain by living this way. Years went by, and all my friends were still struggling, while I was able to live pretty comfortably. I did not make any more money than they did, but I did make the choice to live a little differently. The percentage of Americans living with debt is overwhelming. According to a recent Gallup poll, the average American owes $2,900 in credit card debt, and last year, 1.6 million U.S. households filed for bankruptcy. This chart gives the bankruptcy rate from 1980 to 2008. It is a proven fact that struggles with money cause more than just monetary headaches. Arguments about money are the #1 reason for divorce. Money issues break up marriages, friendships, and can even cause depression. This chart shows the top financial concerns of American families. You might say, I am living from paycheck to paycheck already. What else can I do? You might even think that if you had more money, you wouldn't have so many struggles with money. Sports Illustrated published an article stating that 8 out of 10 former NFL players are bankrupt or under financial stress within 2 years of retirement. People of all economic stages are struggling with debt. It does not matter if you make $100,000 or $40,000 a year. If we do not live within our means, you are still going to be financially unstable. If we do not all learn to control our money better, then we may end up like the family I mentioned in the beginning. I would like to help you and your family in case an unfortunate event left you without a job. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you a few suggestions on how to eliminate debt and be on the road to financial freedom. One of the first areas to address for financial security is changing our attitudes about money. We tend to believe that if we want something, we should just go out and buy it. In order to become debt-free, that way of thinking has to change. Delayed gratification should become the new way of thinking. If you do not have the cash to buy it, then you should not buy it. It is often found that if you wait before making that impulse purchase, you'll realize you do not want it or didn't need it. This brings us to need versus want. What are the true necessities? Shelter, light, and food are all necessities. A new Coach bag, that shiny new car at the dealership, and that new outfit you just thought you had to have are not necessities. According to financial expert Lynette Calfani, the average U.S. household spends $1.22 for every dollar earned. Budgeting is also a helpful tool to manage your money. Financial expert Dave Ramsey teaches his listeners to put every dollar on paper. In other words, write down all of your income for 1 month, and then write down all of the bills for the same month and things that need to be paid. This is an easy way not only to keep track of where your money goes, but to ensure that you are not spending any unnecessary money you do not have. You will also be able to look at how your money is spent to make adjustments to cut spending. It is important to accomplish a different way of thinking about money, but it is also important to know how to begin paying off debt. In your written budget, you can include a list of creditors you owe. Dave Ramsey teaches to pay off your debts in order from smallest to largest amount. After you pay off the smallest one, then apply that money to the next debt and so forth until all debt is paid. The idea behind this approach is to start seeing results quickly in order to keep you motivated, along with eliminating the amount of creditors you're dealing with. There's one thing all financial advisors and experts agree with, and that is never to pay the minimum balance on anything, especially credit cards. Lynette Kalfani, financial expert featured on the Dr. Phil show, teaches to pay at least 3 times the minimum if possible. Of course, the only definite way to eliminate debt is not to acquire it and by paying with cash instead of plastic. The final step in obtaining financial freedom is to build wealth. The first thing you should have in place before investing is an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses is probably sufficient to cushion your finances in case the unthinkable happens, as it did with the family at the beginning. After all this is in place, you can start investing or saving. Some experts believe in stocks and bonds, while some favor mutual funds. Find something you are comfortable with and start stashing away. While there are a large number of Americans struggling every day with credit card debt or not being able to make ends meet, you can change your life by making a few adjustments. It does not matter if you're a Wall Street CEO or on the salary of a restaurant employee. You can obtain financial security and freedom by living within our means, paying off our debt, and obtaining wealth.